Hello friends, welcome to another episode of Techie Tuesdays. I'm your host and coach S. Ravi Kumar. Techie Tuesdays is a weekly show where I answer to your tech and career related queries. So if you like my answers, then please subscribe to my channel and share this video with your friends and colleagues. So without further ado, let's get started with today's questions. So the first question is asked by Shetty S. He is asking, recently I have started my career as a software engineer in an IT firm. Is there any other platform where I can work in free hours along with my current job, and is it legal? Shetty, whether it is legal or not, that probably you need to confirm with your HR team. But my suggestion would be to, rather than working on something else or finding some other freelance work, you should contribute to some open source project. Since you are working as a software engineer or software developer, so whatever technology you are working on, let's say you are working on .NET, my choice of language. So let's say you are working on .NET and you know that there is open source projects, there are plethora of open source projects in .NET. So you can choose any open source project of your choice and you should contribute to that project. So that way what will happen, that you will not only learn, you will also get an opportunity to network. So you will create network with the technology professionals and you will grow your network. So it will and you will also make your personal brand. So that way what will happen, that in future whenever you want to change, you will establish your brand, so you will have something to show off. Okay, if you do any freelance work, even if it is allowed by your company, first of all I rarely think that your company will allow you to work as a freelance developer along with your job. So that probably you need to check with your HR. But the thing is that even if your companies allow you to do freelance work, the freelance work which you will do will be specific to some company, okay, which I really doubt that you can showcase anywhere. So unless and until you are a designer, so if you are a designer, which you are not, you clearly say that you are a software engineer. So you should, my suggestion would be, you should either write blogs on the topics which you are learning, like new topics which you are learning, or you should contribute to a open source project. That way you will create your personal brand which will help you in your long-term career growth. So next question is from Pushpinder Kumar. He is asking, I am a software developer in a major manufacturing company. My company runs on SAP and it has huge team of SAP consultants. Company gives better salary package to SAP consultants when compared to .NET Java developers like me. My question is, should I switch to SAP ABAP or stay as a .NET JavaScript developer and switch to any software company? So Pushpinder, first of all, my apologies for answering your question late. You asked this question in my third episode of Techie Tuesdays in comment section, and I was supposed to answer in the fourth episode, but I am now answering it in the seventh episode. I have quite a long backlog of questions, so that's why I am covering it up. So now to answer your question, I have two propositions for you. Number one, take a pen and paper and write down, where do you see yourself in next 10 years? What do you want to become? So do you want to become a CTO or a architect or someone related to technology field or technical field? So in that scenario, you should stick with .NET, JavaScript or other technologies which are coming up. Keep yourself updating according to the new technologies coming to the market, trends and how to implement. So you should learn in that scenario, you should learn in that direction. Okay, so if you want to become a CTO, if you want to become an architect, if you want to become a technical expert, then you should stick to .NET and JavaScript. Now second thing is, how much do you love your current company? What is the growth path of a SAP consultant or SAP ABAP consultant in your company? If you think that your current company has a long growth potential and you see yourself sticking to that company for next 10 years, then my suggestion would be to shift to SAP or ABAP. So learn SAP or ABAP, talk to your manager that I want to switch teams and I want to go to that team. and then start learning that and move to that team. So the two questions, as I said, number one, where do you want to see yourself in next 10 years? And number two, what is the career growth plan of a SAP consultant in your company or any other company which is running or working in SAP consultancy? So probably you need to search internet for companies which work in SAP or ABAP, and then see that what is their growth plan. I'm sorry, I don't have that information. Otherwise, I would have been able to better answer that question. So decision against lies on you. You have to decide upon truthfully answering these two questions. Next question is from Abhishek Goyal. He is asking, which software programming language interests you most? Just put the thought based on your interest, not the popular one. Abhishek, unfortunately, my interest lies with the popular one. So the language which interests me more is C#, because I'm comfortable with that language very much. I'm working in that language or learning that language since last, I think, 18-20 years. So I'm very much comfortable in C#. I'm always ready to learn what is coming new in C# or what is happening in C#. So my interest lies mostly on C# or C# based technologies. So that's why I have even created a couple of videos where I have explained that if you learn C#, what all you can do. So there are plethora of opportunities if you learn C#. So I'm not just promoting C#. It's my honest interest. I really like C# that much that I want to work mostly in C# or C# based languages, whether it is C# and ASP.NET MVC Core, or C# and Blazor, or whether it is C# and Xamarin, or C# and ML.NET. So my interest primarily is on C#, I would say, no other language. Next question is from Anushka Nischal. She's asking, I have a permanent job in a startup, but I have a job offer as an intern in an MNC. Should I switch? Anushka, looking into the current situations of this COVID-19, my suggestion would be to stick to wherever you are. So if you are working in a startup as a permanent, like your job is a permanent job in a startup, then you should stick to it. Even though offer from MNC is like a good opportunity, but you will be a new person there, and MNC is a big working machinery, whereas startup is kind of considered as a close-knit family. I remember that I made many friends in smaller companies than larger companies in which I have worked. So my suggestion for you would be to currently stick to your startup job for at least couple of years, and then move to the MNC. Because you will get more learning opportunity in the startup itself than the MNC, because MNC as I said, it's a big oiled machinery system, so it has processes and everything there, so you will be able to learn about processes there. But in a startup you will be more closer to the technology, the development practices than a MNC. That's my personal opinion. So I would suggest that for now stick to the startup. Next question is from Khushmanpreet Kaur. She's asking, how will any company hire you for your skill that you don't have any certificate or degree for? So Khushmanpreet, most of the times companies hire, of course, on the basis of certificate and degree. That is a primary requirement. That's they see from your resume. But slowly, of course, this resume culture is going off, and people look into your LinkedIn profile or social media, and especially let's talk about developer platform, because I'm more into developer jobs and developer working. So if you are a developer, then companies also see your GitHub profile or whatever open source contribution you are doing, or if you are writing blogs. So company will hire you if you have specialization in a particular skill. So let's say if you know .NET development and you have contributed in .NET based open source project, or if you have written blogs about .NET, then company will of course hire you, even if you don't have a degree or certification in .NET, provided that company's HR policies allows that. So that's also a caveat here, that the company's HR policy should allow that okay, they can hire a a person without a degree. So that's a requirement. But yes, if you can show your skills, then of course company can hire you. But yes, your skills should be clearly visible in the market. So that's kind of like everybody is running for validation that you should have a job, you should have so many followers on Instagram, or you should have so many followers on Twitter. Similarly, if you have a blog with with a traffic in thousands, so a popular blog or a popular GitHub page or a popular open source GitHub contribution with many stars, then of course companies will hire you. But if you don't have those, then it's very tough to showcase your skills. Then in that scenario, probably you need then getting first job will be tough for you. But after even further jobs, you can show that okay, I have experience certificate of previous jobs, I have worked there. So this way, like, you can get the job, but again the options are pretty much limited, especially in Indian market. So next question is from Abhishek. He's asking, what should I do to get calls from product based IT companies? I have 2.5 years of experience and I am working in a service based company. I'm prepared for the interview but not getting the calls. So Abhishek, first of all, what is this moh maya of product based company? My suggestion would be to leave this moh maya. To be very frank, this is overhyped. The product based company, to be very frank, the product based company job is kind of an overhyped, especially by these YouTubers and all the other peoples, that okay, our company, many services company also gives many facilities which product based companies are giving. So I don't think that it is a much of an important you shouldn't give so much importance to a product based company. That is one. Now number two, to answer your question that why you are not getting calls, might be your resume is not according to the job description of the job they are giving. That is the scenario. Or your resume is not up to the mark, or your skills doesn't match to the job requirement. So my suggestion for you would be to first of all update your resume according to the job description. So first of all, take the target that which company you want to join. So let's say you want to join Microsoft. Okay, so you need to see that what kind of job openings Microsoft has, what technologies does Microsoft work on, and what are the specialties needed for those technology. So properly prepare for them and then show yourself, make your brand. So probably update your LinkedIn profile, write blogs about those technologies, and then contribute to some open source project of those technologies and showcase that in your resume. So once you have things to showcase that okay, I have done this in that in your in my resume, then probably companies will of course call you back, because nowadays competition is very high and companies every company want people who have some edge. Okay, especially product based companies, because everybody want to join a product based company. So they have abundance of resources, abundance of people. So you have to be you have to go an extra mile to get that job call. So next question is from Lalji Tukadia. He's asking, I am working in software development but I don't like it. It never gives me a sukoon. What can I do? So Lalji, there is a song for you. तो जटाधारी के नाम बाली के एक रस्सी लेना और गले में फंदा डाल के हर दुख से मुक्ति लेना. Anyways, sorry to make fun of your question, but frankly speaking, if you don't get sukoon, you need to think. It's time to kind of introspect. So you have to, the best time to do that is in the morning. Like in morning, whenever you wake up, brush your teeth, get fresh, and then sit silently, take a pen and paper, write down what do you want to do, what is your goal, what do you want to achieve, and then see that how you can get that. So probably make a plan. Don't abruptly just like leave your job and go on Himalayas to get sukoon, but make a plan. See what do you want to do. First of all, find out this thing, that what do you like. And because see, you have anyway, you have to pay your bills. You have to, if you have a family, then probably you have to provide for your family. So you have to think about those things also. Okay, so do an introspection. What do you want to do in your life and how you can achieve that goal, and then probably you will get your answer. Next question is from Real Prajwal. So I don't know where is a fake Prajwal, but this question is from Real Prajwal. He is asking, which skill should I work on to learn and earn money during my college BTech CSC days? So Prajwal, in my opinion, the skills which you should learn along with your BTech CSC is communication and networking. So I'm not talking about the computer networking terms. I'm talking about physical networking with your seniors especially. So talk to your seniors. And then second is of course communication. Try to communicate yourself, make YouTube videos, try new things, learn new things, fail in new things. How people say is that learn fast, fail fast. So you try to learn new things. So those things will give those skills will give you experience. And try to, of course, not only try to learn new things, try to document those things. So let's say you are learning along with your college education, you are learning a particular language, let's say Python is very popular these days. Everybody wants to become a data scientist, so they want to learn Python. So let's say you learn Python, write a blog about Python. Anywhere there are multiple sites to write blogs, C# Corner, Code Project, Tutorial Link, .NET links, or somewhere, like there are many sites. Or you can host on blogspot.com, wordpress.com. Just take like realprajwal.wordpress.com, take a domain, write your blog. Better write on a popular platform like C# Corner, Code Project, Tutorial Link, so that you can get their SEO benefits also. So whatever you learn, document those things. That way what will happen, that you will increase your written communications. So network, communicate, learn new things and document those things. Don't think about earning money as of now, because earning money gives you a lot of pressure. So try to think about that after completing your college. And frankly speaking, if you do good in your studies and if you do these things, probably you will obviously get chances to earn more money. Okay, so as I said, network, written skills, communication skills, learn new things. Next question is from Adi Shetty. He is asking, is it okay to become a front-end developer for a product-based startup company after being a full-stack developer for 1 year for a service-based startup company? So Adi, yes, it's perfectly okay to become a front-end developer for a product-based startup company, because anyway product-based, everybody wants to work in a product-based startup nowadays. So yes, it's perfectly fine. You are getting a raise, you are getting a new job. So what it is in a front-end technology? It doesn't matter. Frankly speaking, full stack developer is just a keyword. It's just the latest buzzword, just like data scientist, machine learning. So these are kind of latest buzzwords which are coming in, which are floating in market since last couple of years. Otherwise, full stack developer was always there. When I was working in a company as a developer, I was a full stack developer there. I used to write SQL queries sometimes. I used to write front end code. I used to write API code. So everyone, like most of the times, I would say that if you are working in a service based company, you are a full stack developer even though you haven't given that designation. And if you see my another video, full stack developer explained with .NET technologies, I have clearly mentioned that most of the companies doesn't have a designation called full stack developer. So if you like this front end framework or the kind of front end job which you are getting in this new product based startup, then you should go for it. So you have to decide that, do you like that front end framework? Do you like to work in that framework? Do you see your future in that framework? If that's fine with you, then of course it's completely fine. Next question is from Bhushan Sawant. He is asking, is it a good choice to move in Python development after being in software testing for almost 6 years? Bhushan, tell me frankly, are you learning Python to go into machine learning and become a data scientist? If your answer is yes, then it's not a good choice, because you will be a fresher there. So you already have 6 years of experience in software testing, and then you are moving to machine learning and learning Python for that, then it's not a good choice at all. But if you really like Python, because Python is very easy to learn language and many people like Python, and let's say you want to go in automation. So if you are thinking, if you are learning Python for going into automation, there are many automation testing framework which use Python for writing scripts for their automation testing. So if you are learning Python to go in automation, then of course it's a good choice. It would be a stepping stone in your career. From a manual tester, you will become an automation tester, and probably in future you can become an automation test architect. So that is a stepping stone. So learning Python, so just learning Python is not a good, whether it's a good choice or not depends on what you want to do with that learning. If you are learning Python for machine learning and data science, then you need to check your background, which you haven't mentioned. You just said that you are working in as a tester, or you are in software testing for last 6 years. So then it's not suitable for you. But if you are learning Python for doing automation, for writing automation scripts, then of course it's a good thing. Next question is from Satvika Reddy. She's asking, is learning UX design further useful to become a software engineer? Satvika, UX design, or you can say user experience design, is primarily for designers who want to move into UX architect and all those other path. So my suggestion for you would be to first see, I have created one video about different job roles in Indian IT industry. So see that video, it's in Hindi, and there I have explained various IT job roles and their career growth path. So when we talk about software engineer, even though software engineer as a post, UX designer also get software engineer post, but his job is primarily to design user interfaces. So you need, if you are learning UX design, probably if you want to do create your own product or go into a end-to-end product development company as a UX architect or those kind of things, then UX design would be useful for you being a software engineer. But if you are more inclined towards programming or development, then rather than learning about UX design, you should learn about how to implement that UX design in your application. So if you are a front-end developer or front-end developer, then you should, if you are a web front-end developer, then you should learn about implementing that UX design in CSS and JavaScript and HTML. If you are a Windows like desktop developer, then you should learn how to implement in your technology that UX design. So probably UX design is useful for designers, not much for software engineer. That's my opinion. Next question is from Isha Shah. She's asking, can I pursue a career as a data analyst after 2 years of experience in .NET Core and Angular? Isha, yes, you can pursue, but find out why do you want to become a data analyst. Does it match with your likes, your long-term aspirations? So if you are a developer, you are a .NET Core and Angular developer, so probably you are kind of a full stack developer with .NET and Angular, so you know backend and front end, Angular and .NET both, so you are already in a good position. So why do you want to become a data analyst? Because I think for becoming a data analyst, you also need to know about SQL, writing SQL queries, statistics, mathematics, all those things. So do you know all these things, or do you have a background of these things? If you have background of these things, then probably pursuing to be a data analyst would be a good option. But if you don't have a background of these things, and you are just running to get that, okay, if I become a data analyst, I'll get top salary. I think you will get top salary even though you are working in .NET and Angular. So there you will be a fresher. So you need to think about that. So find out your why first. Otherwise, yes, it is like you can pursue that. If you and another thing, think about that. Do you have like money or time to pursue that thing? Because if you, let's say you have money, you have 2 years of experience, you have saved money, and you now learn data science, you do masters in data science. So for next 2 years, when till the time you are doing your masters, you either you have to work in this job or you don't work at all. So after completing that thing, you will be considered as a fresher in that technology. So think about those aspects also, and then make your decision. Next question is from Om Kaushik. He's asking, how do open source software developer benefit? So probably he's asking the question that how do open source software developers get income? So open source software developers mostly benefit in terms of kind, not in terms of money. Some of them of course get benefit in terms of money also, but most of them get benefit in terms of kind, that they are in terms of recognition. So like many open source framework developers in a particular technologies are kind of an MVP or developer experts in that technology from that particular company. Let's say somebody has created or contributed to Angular and he's an expert in Angular, so Google might have given him a certification of like Google developer expert. So Google developer expert is primarily given to those people who contribute to community in Google technologies, be it Angular or some other technology. So it is or Firebase or Flutter or any Google based technology. Similarly, from the Microsoft side, there is Microsoft MVP. They also get a lot of benefits along with that, both in case of Google developer expert as well as Microsoft MVP. They get a lot of benefits along with the recognition. So most of the people who have written some of the frameworks in Microsoft technologies, they have been kind of recognized by Microsoft as MVPs. So they are being included in making decision related to that particular technology. So I know one person, I know many people like those, let's talk about one person called Brian Lagunas, who is basically Microsoft MVP since several years. He is a maintainer of Prism framework, which is an open source MVVM framework for developing desktop and mobile applications, and Prism is very popular framework. So Brand Lagunas is MVP. He's earning, not only that, he's earning money from courses which he has created on Plural site on how to use Prism framework. So the earning comes from various sources, depends on how you contribute to that open source project or how you utilize that open source project. So let's say you create an open source project and then you create a course on how to use that open source project or how to contribute that open source project, then you can make that course as a paid one. So if some company is using it, they can learn from it, and you can earn money from it. So there are various ways, but most of the benefit comes in case of recognition. So you get recognized as an expert in that particular technology. Next question is from Shushant Saruk. He's asking, can I learn coding on my own and get a job in any MNC, no engineering background? Shushant, yes, you can get a job in any MNC, but that is tough in India. So sorry to say this, but in India most of the time MNCs considered people with not engineering background. Even if you have a degree and you have learned coding and you have certification, so you need to have either certification or degree related to any programming language in order to get a job in any MNC in India. That's kind of a requirement, at least in India for now. So that is one thing. But yes, you can get a job in smaller companies or smaller MNCs if you learn coding on your own, but there should be something to show to the company that how you have learned, from where you have learned. So either you can create open source project, or you can create your own sites or portfolio site or something like that to showcase your learning, that I know this thing, so I have created this thing. See my GitHub profile, it has these many projects in this particular programming language. So then only some company will give you. But even in that scenario also, most of the cases in Indian MNC, a degree is required, even if it is not an engineering degree, but even if you have done BCA or BSc IT or MSc IT, so then also you will be considered. So those were my answer to your tech and career related queries in this episode of Techie Tuesdays. I hope you like my answers. If you like my answers, then please subscribe to my channel and share this video with your friends and colleagues. And if you want your questions to be answered in next episode of Techie Tuesdays, you can question me on any social media platform with hashtag Techie Tuesdays. All my social media handles are Techie Rathor, which you can see here. So until my next video, take care. Bye bye.